Roughneck Racing would like to thank our sponsor, Wagoner Welding. Wagoner Welding is a family-owned and operated business located in North Wilkesboro, North Carolina. They specialize in custom-built truck beds and framework of all types. You can reach them at 336-670-3427 or visit the shop located at 446 DeHart Church Road.
Ladies and gentlemen, our national anthem, the Star Spangled Banner.
All right, good evening, everyone, and welcome to another night of On the Pole Racing here tonight. As we got in our new setup, our new area here inside my booth. We're here tonight with the James Wagoner Welding Xfinity Series, getting ready to take it on here tonight from Auto Club Speedway. As the sun looks like it's getting ready to set here at Auto Club, so we may be under the lights here before this one finishes out here tonight, folks. But here we are, tonight's race. As we're out here watching Greg, oh, come on now, give me a little minute, folks. I'm a little rusty getting back into things here as the PC, as some may know, has been down for 2 weeks, 3 weeks now. I've been down since Christmas, so we were struggling to get it back together, and now we got it back together, and we're back and running. We've got about 3 minutes left of qualifying left to go. Greg Jolly out there in that number 23, out here in front. Down through the backstretch goes Greg Jolly. Jeff Scott in that number 38. I was trying to figure out who that 38 was, as I recognized it. Could not remember the name behind it, but that's Jeff Scott there in that number 38, as he goes and takes the pole position with a 40.865. Again, we got a small field here tonight, only about 7 drivers if they all take the grid. Greg Jolly there second, as we're on board with him coming down through off of the corner number 1. As his time is done, and he will have a time of 41.150. Jimmy Pilon laying down a decent run there in that 29 machine LI, with running a .884 here this evening. Jeff Scott hanging on to that pole position with a 40.790. Dale Adamson now on track in that number 46 machine. Down the backstretch. Down here in the corner number 3, they roll on to 4. And coming back out onto the front stretch here at Power Auto Club. Down here across the stripe, and he's going to lay down a 40.717. Dale Adamson's going to take that lead away from Jeff Scott, putting him out there on pole rate now. Still 2 drivers yet to go and grid. Or, I'm sorry, not grid, but to qualify here. We got Tim Richardson and James Wagoner both waiting to see if they qualify here tonight. Great looking 46 machine there as he rolls back down there in the corner number 3. Back out onto the front stretch. He decided to take it a little easy this lap, it looks like. As he rolls off, he had a blister of a lap there on lap number 1. He's going to come down with about a 41. No, he quickened his time, believe it or not, with a 40.692 for his second lap. Dale Adamson bringing in the pole here tonight with a 40.692. 35 seconds left to go in qualifying, so that's going to wrap it up here for the qualifying so far this evening. Let me know if I need to adjust any settings here as we have moved our mic, moved our area, so acoustics may be a little different. You'll have to let me know what all you think and if you need to hear the cars a little bit more as we get rolling here tonight. As you see, that sun beginning to set here, if I'm looking at it correctly, or is it becoming daylight? I'm not sure. How about we go ahead and take a look at the race information. Here we are. It's going to be 62% humidity, 72 degrees Fahrenheit with a track temp of 74. Partly cloudy with 14-mile-per-hour winds, and this is the James Wagoner Welding Xfinity Series this Monday evening. All right, so we're going to be getting ready to go, and if you hear myself echo, let me know. We will change that and get that taken care of. Four cars on the grid, so we're going to go ahead and look at our grid. Oh, that's results. Where's our grid at? There it is up there. There's our grid. Dale Adamson starting out there on pole with Jeff Scott there in second. Jimmy Pilot Rowdy will be there in third with Larry Fairman starting fourth. Greg Jolie sitting there in fifth. James Wagoner in sixth. And then you got Tim Richardson there in seventh. Turn that noise down so we don't get drivers. So there's your starting grid. 7 drivers. You got 5 of them on track, waiting for the other 2 to grid. Looks like we're waiting on... Oh, there's Rowdy. That was one of them that I was looking for. And it looks like we're looking for 6th place, James Wagoner. Oh, no, sorry, Wagner's there. No, Wagoner not there. Okay. There's your starting grid. I'm not sure if Wagner's taking the flag or not. That is to be seen here. And Wagner will not take the grid. So we got 6 drivers out on track. 6 drivers to kick on tonight. Everybody rolls off pit road. They're coming around that backstretch. Out here in that Mustang out front. I see all of them out there. We'll see if Wagner takes the grid later, as he is still off of the track in the pits as it stands right now. Pace car driven by Fred is off. Barney, the flagman's gonna go and get that green flag out, and green flag is in the air. Give me a moment here and clear some audio. And down here through corner number 1, they go off of 2 down that backstretch, and it's going to be Dale Adamson leading the way as they all rocket down the backstretch. James Wagoner is back out on track now as he is coming out of the pit lane this lap. Now he's got some ground to make up, starting back there in 6th, slowly making it down the backstretch as we speak. All right, no, maybe not. Maybe he's out. Let's get our grid up here so we can see where everybody is at. Adamson there in first. Jeff Scott there second. Tyler Rowdy will be there third. Larry Fairman, though, makes the pass on Rowdy as he comes around there off of corner number 2 as they head on down the backstretch. So Wagner called it done. He is packed up and is currently labeled as out. So 6 drivers taking on Auto Club this evening as we got Jeff Scott now looking to the inside of Dale Adamson, and Dale Adamson up there against that outside wall, right down here off of 4, back out here onto the front stretch, and we got him possibly looking at 3 wide between Fairman, Rowdy, and Jolly. As you can see there, Island is out there. Down the backstretch, Dale Adamson out there in front. Jeff Scott second. Trying to keep the best look here on track as we can. Down here off of turn 4, down through that front straightaway, down across the stripe. It is Dale Adamson as we're now on board there with Larry Fairman as we work down here into corner number 1 and 2. Down there along that bottom side. Out there off of 2, down the backstretch. Looking to the inside. Jeff Scott there against Dale Adamson as they roar down the backstretch. You're looking at the 99 of Larry Fairman there in third as he rockets down here into corner number 3. As out in front of him, he's got Dale Adamson and Jeff Scott as they look there off of 4 now. Back onto that front stretch. Dale Adamson out front. Jeff Scott there second. Larry Fairman there third. With Greg Jolly there fourth. Jimmy Pilot sitting there 5th. Not sure where the rest of this crew is at. It seems like we've had dwindling numbers here lately as we're down to 6 drivers. 3 races to go, counting this one in the series. So only 3 races to go. 2 more after tonight. I understand they raced Iowa last week, and unfortunately I was not there, as I had to find myself some trouble considering PC issues, had the PC in the shop. It is back running and running strong as we are back here out of corner number 4, back out onto the front stretch with Dale Adamson leading the way. Jeff Scott trying to take down, but Jeff Scott, better watch that rear view mirror as he's got Larry Fairman rolling up on him pretty quickly in that number 99. Out into corner number 1, through 2. Fairman way down there on the bottom side. Scott going through about the middle of the corner as they roll off here. Now you've got Greg Jolly coming down there off of the corner. He's got some company there from Pilot Looks like Greg's having some issues with the internet. As you saw him blink out there a couple times, and we now look down here in the corner number 3 and 4. As Fairman is all over the bumper of Jeff Scott, heading down here in the corner number 1. Island still working on the inside of Dolly. As you're watching there on board there from Jeff Scott. And sorry folks, I'm not really being able to turn that nameplate on and off tonight at the moment, as my mouse went dead on me. I thought I had it charged, but apparently it went dead. So it's currently sitting here on the dock as I'm navigating this race. As we roll out of 4, up there is Jeff Scott. Larry Fairman still all over the back bumper. Jeff Scott, and we're on board with Jeff Scott, heading down here into corner number 1 after coming through that front straightaway. Heading into corner number 1 they go now. On to the backstretch. We've got 100 laps for the distance tonight here at Auto Club. Rolling off. There you see Larry Fairman down there on the inside as we're back on board here with Dale Adamson now out front as we roar down here into corner number 3 and 4. And he's got a pretty smooth wheel there. Not really jerking that wheel too hard as they come back around here off of 3 and 4 back onto that front stretch. Dale Adamson, Jeff Scott, Larry Fairman, all your 1, 2, 3 up there on that top side as they roar down the back stretch. Or I'm sorry, front stretch into corner number 1 and 2. Coming on to the back stretch now. Down here off the corner. Excuse me. Down the backstretch they go. Dale Adamson out there in front. Jeff Scott there second. Larry Fairman third. Highland sitting there in fourth with Jolly there in fifth. And now we got Scott looking to the inside of Adamson. Adamson still up there on the outside. Jeff Scott will come around and possibly lead that lap. As you see them side by side there with Jeff Scott down there on the inside there. Was an onboard shot with Adamson now coming down here through corner 1 and 2. You can see just how tight this racing is between Jeff Scott and Dale Adamson as they work here off of 2. Larry Fairman working there in third. As you got Piling back there in fourth. Greg Jolly falls back into fifth with Tim Richardson rounding out your field tonight in sixth. And yes, I do know there is 7 drivers, but James Wagoner packed it up already and has called it a night. Lap number 12 now on the board as we head down here into corner number 1 once again with Dale Adamson leading, with Jeff Scott still trying to work on him as he comes down here into corner number 2 now and off. Jeff Scott out there in second. Dale Adamson there in third. Dale Adamson out front. Jeff Scott there second, and Larry Fairman third. I mind that at the moment. As we work here off of corner number 4, back down into the straightaway comes the group. Pretty much the field is split up. We'll go ahead and take a look down through it here in just a moment. I can see now just how much the gap is farther on in the pack. The biggest racing going on up here in the top 3. Between Dale Adamson, Jeff Scott, and Larry Fairman all battling it out for 1, 2, 3 at the moment. Now it's going to be interesting when we hit the green flag pit stops. Who's it going to be rolling in and out with the best stop? We are on lap number 13, coming around to make it lap number 14. 13 laps in the books. Now here through 1 and 2, back heading out onto that back stretch. As we go rolling along. Dale Adamson still your leader out there in that number 46 Toyota. The only Toyota in the field here tonight, the rest being split between Ford and Chevy evenly, if you count all 7 cars. So the lone Toyota out front, driven by Dale Adamson. Got Jeff Scott there in second, Darren Fairman there third. As Fairman's looking to the inside a little bit of Jeff Scott as they were rolling there through off a 2. That Camaro will get into the bottom side of that Mustang down here in the corner number 3 as they come down here into 3 and 4. Fairman down there on the bottom side, going to try to make it stick and get that nose underneath of Jeff Scott. Cannot quite do it, so he's going to just ride it back in line, heading back down here into corner number 1 on lap number 16. And the battle playing out here for second and third plates. Jeff Scott, Larry Fairman. Larry Fairman back down there on the inside of the racetrack as they now work off up here on that high side. As we head down here into corner number 3 and 4. Back down here, rolling well. There you see Pilot catching up to these front group as they're rolling along here. As you see Larry Fairman down here on that inside, Jeff Scott now going down to block that. As they work here off of corner number 2 down that backstretch. Dale Adamson still up front with Jeff Scott there in second. Larry Fairman third. Jimmy Pilot there fourth. Tim Richardson there fifth. With Greg Jolly there sixth. James Wagoner calling it a night. Kind of a shame though, as James Wagoner is such a big sponsor here in the in the Roughneck Racing. I get RGR and Roughneck confused a lot lately as they both start with R and, oh man. I'll get it straightened out though. As we head back down the backstretch with Dale Adamson out front, Jeff Scott out there second, Larry Fairman third, Jimmy Powell fourth with Tim Richardson there fifth. Greg Jolly still having some connection issues as we roll down here into corner number 3 and 4. Back out here onto the front stretch they go. We head down into corner number 1. Fairman looking to the inside of Scott and looks like he's going to get there. Can he hold on and get that momentum to stick and get that Camaro up there in the second place? He will do so as he gets that front corner up there in front of Scott. Scott ends up into the outside wall. That's going to hurt his speed just a little bit, but he's racing back hard as he's now got Pyland right there behind him. Jimmy down there now to the inside right behind Larry. Down in the corner number 3 and 4 heading on to the front stretch. Jeff Scott up there on the outside. And you got Larry Fairman down there on the inside. Hyland just trying to figure out where he wants to be, who he wants to help. He's now looking to the inside of Fairman as they roll down here into corner number 1. As we're back on board here with Jeff Scott. Rolling back here all onto the backstretch, heading down in the corner number 3. Jeff Scott there in second. Pyland now overtakes and is sitting in third. So now Pyland sitting there in a spot looking to try to capitalize a little bit and get up there and race beside Jeff Scott for that second position. Through the restart zone, across the stripe, heading down into corner number 1. Dale Adamson, your pole sitter, is still up front, heading down here into corner number 1. With Jeff Scott and Jimmy Pilot battling it out here for that second spot. Might be adding a third car into the mix. We might go 3 wide for second, third, and fourth. As Adamson is out front. Jeff Scott, Jimmy Pilot, and Larry Fairman all battle it out back here for their spot. Now we come around the complete 21 laps here at Auto Club this evening. Sorry about that. That was not supposed to happen like that. Somehow minimized all my screens. So if there was a quick hiccup in the stream, that would be why. Everything minimized. And sometimes it don't take kindly to that. We're rolling down here off of corner number 4, back across the start zone and across the stripe. Pilot sitting there. With going underneath, Jeff Scott here in corner number 1. As they roll here off of 2. Pilot there in second, Jeff Scott there third. Dale Adamson way out front now, got a gap of at least a second and a half over top of Jeff Scott and Jimmy Pilot down here, who's looking to the inside of Jeff Scott once again. Rolling through 3 and 4. As you see, Pilot working really hard. There's Fairman still working on it. We got Tim Richardson laying back here into number 2. We got Greg Jolly way back here off pace as he's having some connection issues. As they complete lap number 23, Dale Anderson started lap number 24 down here through turns 1 and 2, back out onto that backstretch with Pilot and Scott battling it out for that second place still. Pilot gets around Scott. Can he hold on to it as Scott is there in third place? Heading down here into corner number 3 and 4. Scott getting to the bumper. Here comes Fairman down there on the inside. Off of corner number 4. And back out in that restart zone. And we got Jeff Scott back into the outside wall. That's going to hurt him a little bit more as Fairman gets to the inside in that Canadian Tire machine. Down here in the corner number 1 they go. Jeff Scott up there against that outside wall. Here comes Larry Fairman down there into the inside as we've got Jeff Scott here out of Earl, Wisconsin, sorry. Down the backstretch. Pilot sitting there in second. And he's not doing too bad here out of, he's out as he's out of the Midwest City. Larry Fairman also hanging in back there in that number 99. Driving that Chevrolet. But Dale Adamson putting on the show tonight out of Sanford, Florida in that Toyota. Back down here in the corner number 2 as they now work down the backstretch. Tim Richardson in that number 2 machine. He's out of North Wilkesboro. Leave that North Carolina. Greg Jolly back here hanging on for all we can to try to just get the feel for this car out of Loudon, Tennessee. Now Fairman and Scott are driving together as Scott falls another position back into 4th as Larry Fairman takes that 3rd position over from Jeff Scott. They now work down here into corner number 3. over a quarter of the way through the race here this evening as they work on down here through the front straightaway, back across the restart zone and into the stripe. 27 laps now in the books as we head on down here in number 1. Thank you there, Skittles, for letting me know that nothing went on with the stream. I was covering my rear, as they would say, just in case. As we're having one heck of a race here tonight. I'm thinking we're going to stay pretty clean here tonight, since we only got 6 drivers on track that seem pretty spaced out, unless some of these drivers that are battling up here at the front, like with the likes of Highland, Fairman, and Scott, as Scott is there at the bumper repairman. Scott's found the wall a couple of times coming out of the corner. Let's hope he don't make that too much of a habit, as now he's down there through off of corner number 2, heading out onto that backstretch there on the bumper repairman. Scott dipping to the inside, going to try to get that momentum, and he's side by side of Fairman heading down here into corner number 3. Now we're back on board with Jeff Scott as he heads out of corner number 4 and will take over that 3rd position as he tries to set sights on that 2nd position, but Fairman's not done as he now battles back on the inside, heading down here into corner number 1, side by side once again for that 3rd position here at Auto Club in the James Wagoner Welding Xfinity Series. So here at Auto Club, oh, here we are. We're looking here. It is a D-shaped oval with 2 miles for the length, 4 turns at 14 degrees, banking, front stretch at 11 degrees, and a back stretch only at 3 degrees. As we take on the Auto Club here tonight. So apparently they are, I knew they were tearing this track down here at Auto Club and making way for a new short track here for Auto Club. And apparently the new variation is going to have the straightaways similar to Martinsville with the high banks of Bristol. Now this is, according to preliminary site planning. So that could be interesting if that is what goes on as that was what I'm pulling up here out of 2020. So I'm sure over the last 4 years things have changed. So it'll be interesting to see what the new Auto Club will look like. I know a lot of fans are upset that Auto Club is changing courses and going to short track. And we got Jeff Scott heading into pit road here at lap number 33. Larry Fairman out there in front, as you saw Dale Adamson coming there on pit lane. Tim Richardson also coming to pit road here. So green flag pit stops underway here at Auto Club. As you see here, down the back, or down the front stretch. Down there in the pit lanes there, Tim Richardson. making a little problem there in his pit box. Had to back up a little bit. There comes the 23 of Greg Jolly in. Jeff Scott is in. Dale Adamson is on his way out. Here comes Jeff Scott on his way out. Larry Fairman coming in after completing another lap. So an interesting shakeup as Dale Adamson now gets back out on track. Here comes Jeff Scott, Tim Richardson. So it looks to be about a 30 to 35 lap window to take on the 30 to 35 lap window to take on fuel and whatnot. Hey, back down here off of the corner, it is Dale Adamson out front once again with Jeff Scott there in second. Going to go put this on excitement here. Jeff Scott hanging on to second place now as he's got quite the gap between him and Fairman. As Fairman is 6 seconds back. Oh, about 6 seconds between everybody until you get back to about fifth position where Jolly is there. Pilot struggling here. He must have had a bad pit stop. Jimmy back here coming off of corner number 2 right at the moment, back out on that back stretch. And everybody else is coming on to that front stretch. Here comes Dale Adamson. He's rolling back out onto the back stretch now. So Dale Adamson really putting the hammer down out there in front, having a flawless pit stop there. Jeff Scott there in second. Larry Fairman there third. Tim Richardson there in fourth, Greg Jolly in fifth, and now we got Jimmy Pilot in sixth. And since they are so spread out like this, we're going to put the track map up, and you can just see there is your 6 cars, them 6 dots as they go around the speedway here tonight. And there you see the 23 of Greg Jolly blipping in and out off of that map. That means he's not quite having the connection that he would like to have. And we head back down here in corner number 3 and 4. Heading on that front straightaway here at lap number 39. You're looking at Pilot Rowdy as he rolls off of the corner. And a little bit behind him as he rolls off the corner. That's going to be the 46 of Dale Adamson. So Pilot better try to find out if there's another gear in that car for him to take off and try to put some distance between him and Adamson back here in front. So Adamson leading the way here at lap number 40 with Jeff Scott. There's second, Larry Fairman there third. And as you see, there's just no battle going on the racetrack as of right now. You'll see, there goes Dale Adamson down there across the start-finish line. right about now. And down there in turn number 1 and 2 is the 29 of Rowdy. He rolls down there off of 2 back into the front area as here comes Adamson down that straightaway. And as we said, that back stretch is only 3 degrees. The front stretch is at 11 degrees. And the turns, I forget what I said turns were at. Greg Jolly out there in 5th. Everybody split apart on the racetrack. Sorry there's not more excitement going on, as we are so spread out. There you see Jeff Scott there in 2nd as he rolls on through. He's trying to make a run at it. But it looks like the gap may be closing between Fairman and Scott. Scott losing ground, Fairman gaining ground. Seems Fairman's got a pretty decent car if he can just get that thing into a decent spot. Now he rolls across the stripe here on lap number 43 now, down into corner number 1. There you see Dale Adamson out front going down that backstretch. There is the 38 of Jeff Scott. Dale Adamson out front with a staggering lead of 8 seconds right now, with Fairman there and third trying to chase down Scott, but lost a little bit of ground now. Now he's trying to make it back up. Coming there off of 3 and 4. Richardson trying to gain some ground too, but it looks like he's losing ground. Looks like everybody's just slowly losing ground to the car in front of them, with the exception of that number 99 of Larry Fairman, who's trying his best to get up there and trying his best to get that slipstream of the 38 of Jeff Scott as they work down the backstretch. Into corner number 3 and 4. Jeff Scott back out onto the front stretch. I think we kind of got a lull in excitement here. We'll go ahead and give a little bit of information here from Big Farm TV. We got the GT3 Road Course Series for Real Wraps and Designs, brought to you by FMA, Freedom Motorsports Alliance, here tonight as well. Tomorrow night is our off night. Then we go back Wednesday night. Wednesday night we are off as well. Thursday night, though, new series that we are going to be the sole home of here on FFTv. WCXRA, the White Cane Racing Association, is trying to get drivers and is heading up 2 races on Thursday night. The first being at 7 p.m. That's going to be a 20-week series in the 34 Legends Coupe. Then at 10 p.m. it's going to be the Lucas Oil Pro Trucks. And we got recruitment race this week and next week before that 20-week season starts. Winner of the season will get a trophy at the end of it, courtesy of us working with our Pro Truck sponsor, RCC, which is the Ranger Creative Concepts. Ranger Creative Concepts, yeah, is who we're working alongside with for some of our items. So be sure to come and check us out. And we definitely want to thank the RCC for coming aboard. Jeff Scott rolling around here in 2nd. Then Friday night we're back with FFA as we review the FFTv Super Late Models. We head on down there. It is lap number 48 of the 100 to complete here tonight. We head back down here through turn number 1 and 2. We've got Dale Addison in at 46. Still putting down some laps. But it looks like Jeff Scott has gained a little bit now as he's brought that gap down to 7.5. Fairman still at 11.3 to the gap of Adamson. We rolled down through here. We want to give shout outs to the league sponsors of K&S Production, Speed Zone, James Wagoner Welding, a great sponsorship there. Now we're rolling down the backstretch. Up there against the outside wall goes Jeff Scott. Larry Fairman there third. We are halfway through the race officially now as we work back down here in the corner number 1. Roll. Jeff Scott across the start-finish line, heading down here in the corner number 1 and 2. All right, down the back front stretch down here in the corner. Oh, I'm sorry, that was the back stretch. As Jeff Scott works out there. We still got the 46 Adele Adamson out front. Jimmy Palin still trying to hang on back here in 6th. Probably got about, I'd say another 12 laps, and then we'll start seeing pit stops. We work on down here through corner number 1 and 2. Dale Adamson is across the stripe, and he's coming down there in the corner number 1 and 2. Down here, off of 2, down that backstretch. Heading down here into corner number 3 we go. Great racing here tonight so far by the James Wagoner Welding Xfinity Series drivers. Here from Roughneck Racing. As you see, Dale Adamson there in front. And that number 46. Doing everything he can to keep that 46 out front. Jeff Scott there in second. Larry Fairman there third. Tim Richardson there fourth. But Greg Jolly in fifth. All right, down here, through off of the corner. Work on down into corner number 1 is Jeff Scott. And as we got him starting to stack up a little bit here on the backstretch, there you see Tim Richardson falling victim to Greg Jolly. Down here off of 4. And here comes Piling getting himself into that mix, so we got him starting to stack up here a little bit. As it looks like Tim Richardson struggling here for a moment. Pilin's going to get up there and get around. These 3 drivers, them battling it out like this, is only going to hurt them a little bit. If they would all 3 get in line and kind of follow one another, they might stand a chance to put this pack back together as they head back down here, down the backstretch. Pilin down underneath of Tim Richardson, heading here into corner number 3. As we're on board with Pilin down here through 3 and into 4. Dale Addison up there in front with Jeff Scott second. Larry Fairman sitting third. We're now on lap number 60. We'll see if in another 4 to 6 laps, drivers pitting. As the first pit stops went on between lap number 30 and lap number 35. Here you see Greg dip out once again and taking a pretty hard shot there once again. As he is disconnecting and playing hopscotch with the server. Now we head into corner number 1 and 2 once again. Heading on down the backstretch. Got the 23 there out Greg Jolly. Right in front of Jimmy Piling. Tim Richardson following back there in the 6th. Now we're on board with Greg Jolly for the moment. And I say for the moment, just in case he decides to play hopscotch with the server once again, we are now at lap number 61. So 60 laps complete of the 100 for the distance here tonight. Eight drivers are sticking it together back here, coming off of 2. Dale Adamson there in first. Jeff Scott there second. Larry Fairman there third, with Greg Jolly in fourth. Jimmy Pyle and Rowdy sitting there fifth. Tim Richardson rounding tonight out in 6th. James Wagner didn't even take the grid after qualifying, packed up onto the truck and said he's done. Coming down here, we got about 37 laps to go. As they come down the backstretch, you're looking at Greg Jolly and Jimmy Pilon. Now they work down here through turn 3 and 4. Hopefully everybody's enjoying the racing going on so far that you've seen. It's pretty much just watching a bunch of cars go around in circles. So hopefully our second race tonight is a little bit more exciting. We take on the GT3s for an hour's race. They're not a lapped race, they are a timed race. So they will race for an hour. We head on down through here.